If you are anything like me, and when I say anything like me, I mean as someone who cries over strangers on TikTok or any stranger on the internet, if you're okay with crying, this is the right video for you. I want to share with you some of the books that have just made me bawl, books that just kind of broke my heart. And if you're okay with that, then we have some things in common. You are my people. And honestly, I feel like this is just a healthy way of releasing certain emotions. Sometimes you just need a good cry. The first book that I want to mention, I don't want to get into it too much because I feel like I have said this in multiple videos already, and I know that this is such a popular series, but A Court of Wings and Ruin, this particular book just made me lie in bed sideways crying. There's a particular scene, and whether if you have heard of the series or not, and every time I think about this particular scene, this scene breaks you in such a bad way. I don't even want to say that these are happy tears. These are really just unforgivable tears. So if you're in the mood for that, keep reading ACOTAR. If you are on the first book right now, just move past it. Just get through the first book so you can get to at least the third book. And then once you reach the third book, you're not even gonna want to stop reading it. And that's a promise. Yeah. The next book, I'm just gonna glaze through this again because I've spoken about this before and I'll speak about it always. That's just how much I love this book. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. This is one of those books where it's a unique experience because you know of the tragedy right at the very beginning. I think if not like the first few sentences of the book, you know that a tragedy is coming. The reason why it's a little bit more heart-wrenching is because of the story that leads up to this tragedy that just makes it so much more heartbreaking, that even though you know that there's a tragedy that's coming, everything else leading up to it, you go through all of these series of emotions and then the tragedy happens. Oh my gosh, I still think about this book. I know that the sequel to this book just came out. I'm scared to read it just because I know of how much I love the first book so much, and to read the second one, I don't want to be let down. I don't even want to hear about how other people are feeling about it because I know I'm gonna get to it, but I just want to savor the experience that I had with the first book. This book took me a day, maybe 2 days to read, so if you're okay to just get a quick book done and you just want a quick release, this is the book for you. You're probably thinking, wow, this girl cries a lot. I do. Yeah, this is an emotion that I'm very in tune with. The next book that I want to talk to you about is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now, at first when I was reading this book, I was just like, whatever, like 75% of it, I was like, okay, this is cute. To me, it wasn't anything more than two neighbors flirting with each other and having a relationship. This is one of those stories where the last 3 chapters is what made this book be more memorable to me. Like, I don't even care about the first 75%, but the last 3 chapters, yeah, I was speechless. I was speechless. That was really the part that made me fall in love with this book. This next book is called Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This has become one of my favorite books of all time simply because of Kennedy Ryan. The second book came out in this series and I'm really excited to read it. After being familiarized with how she writes, I just know I'm gonna love it. And I've mentioned before that I really, really love second chance romances if it's done correctly. I hate toxicity in books, and if the love is toxic, I won't accept that type of second chance. But if it's done correctly, it has a special place in my heart just because it's very personal to me. Now, this book, it gives you hope when you feel like love is lost, when you feel like you've lost the love of your life. But in addition to that, it also talks about how taking accountability and really working on yourself will impact other relationships in your life positively. That's really why I love this book so much, just because it's so well-rounded. It made me cry tears of joy. That's the best part about it. They're tears of joy. The next book is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is another popular book, so maybe I shouldn't go into it too much. Happy Place by Emily Henry also just gave me tears of joy. The best way that I could describe it is like the rain scene from The Notebook, where Allie was like, why didn't you write to me? Noah was like, I wrote you 365 letters. I wrote to you every day for a whole year. That's what it gave for me in this book, and that's why I loved it so much. When someone effectively devotes their feelings and their love towards their partner and they do it well, I mean, you're just speechless. Your heart opens up again. I loved it. It was perfect, and that's why this is also one of my all-time favorite books. Lastly, another second chance romance book. This is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and this book, I mean, at first I was like, what is the deal? You start out this book knowing that these two people were previously in a relationship, they've broken up, and in the present timeline, they reconnect. And I'm like, what's the reason? Why did they break up, and why is this such a big deal? And so this whole book, it takes you through the story of leading up to their relationship and everything else that happened afterwards. Since their breakup, life really took them in a lot of different complicated directions. They both experience a lot of hardships. We navigate that with them. And then when the truth finally gets uncovered, you understand everything. You understand what led to them falling apart, what led to them not even communicating throughout the years. Once you do find out what truly happened, it's so heartbreaking. These are not happy tears. These are very, very sad, sorrowful, weeping tears. That's all I can say on that. Well, anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know that this is kind of a weird one, like why would you want to learn about books that made me cry? But I know that there are some of you out there who are okay with crying. I've actually had friends ask me for book recommendations on books that have made me cry, and this would be the exact same list that I'd give them. So hopefully you enjoy. Please give me some books that just tugged at your heartstrings, and I want to learn more about them. I want to read them, and I want to cry with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Emmy. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss another one. Thank you.